They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. They feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, that's why I can levitate.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devan, and we got our boy Nick back here. I know last week he played hooky. I was sick. He said he was sick, but we both know that he wasn't. Just a little fun. But all jokes aside, today's episode is going to be about gratification and the dilemma of the gratification. Basically, what is delayed gratification? What is instant gratification? And tying that into basically are the habits or the actions that you're doing or starting to implement, are they conducive to a lifestyle? Or are they just a temporary fix and a temporary Band-Aid for what you're trying to achieve, right? So with that being said, this is actually, Nick brought this topic up today, and I thought this was a solid one. So I want you to start it off. Let's talk about instant gratification and delayed gratification.
So, to me, I'm going to just pretty much start off like kind of expressing my general idea or basis of each one. When we talk about instant gratification, it's like when you have an impulse or a sudden urge, whether that be a food you want to eat or an activity you want to do, or you don't want to do something. Most of the time it's something related to work or even working out or a task, whatever the hell it is. There's something that will urge you that tells yourself, damn, I don't want to do this, or damn, I want to eat junk food or something like that. And instead of you choosing to do what you know is what the right thing to do or what you should do, you want an instant relief, or you want to look for that easy way out, to get that reward, essentially, to get that dopamine release or that satisfaction immediately. So like, to be a little bit more specific with that, if it's something related to food, it's like, if you're craving, or if you're craving something, you want like a certain junk food or anything like that, you're gonna give in and you're gonna say, okay, yeah, fuck it, I want that cookie, I'm gonna have it now. And then you're gonna feel good in the moment, because you're having what you quote unquote think what you think you want to actually have. But in reality, in the long term, you're gonna feel like shit. What you should have ate instead, or you should have stayed on your meal plan, et cetera, et cetera. Or as far as work, if you don't want to do a certain task or do something that you need to get done, instead you're gonna fuck around, you're gonna watch a show on Netflix, or you're gonna be on your phone to spend 5 minutes on TikTok or Instagram, and that 5 minutes turns into 50 minutes. Or you're supposed to go work out, and instead you do something else, like you go out drink, you get ready to go out drinking with your friends or whatever the hell it may be. Those are instant gratifications, because in the moment it brings you a temporary satisfaction, a temporary happiness. That's versus like the delayed gratification. In giving up that temporary relief or that temporary satisfaction in the moment, because knowing later on in the future there's a greater return. So just a general basis of what it means to me.
So with that, because you and I both know what delayed gratification is. We're in that right now, right? And I know the topics for Fridays are, we steer more towards fitness, but with this topic, we can go into a little bit of like a business or professional sense. We can go into, buying a house, right? Buying a car, whatever the case may be, because there's so many different aspects to this. So before we go into those avenues, what have you seen in the fitness side, like with our members and stuff, like someone that wants that delayed gratification versus someone that wants, that instant gratification? Like, what is that the most common, case you've seen?
That's a great question. Here's I think this one's a good example. So I'm gonna tie it in with the current challenge that we're on, right? The 11-week challenge. So a lot of the members of the people that are doing the challenge, or actually any kind of program or anything like that, they want the results to happen immediately, like snap, like in a blink of an eye. So ideally, what their tendency to to do is kind of like what we talked about last time: take away food, take away more calories, because they're thinking that it's going to actually help them. It's going to bring them that. Oddly enough, it sounds kind of counterintuitive. It's like, yes, there's a bit of suffering, but at the same time, it may bring like a thought of satisfaction, thinking, oh, this is going to expedite my process to get to, you know what I'm saying? To get to where I want to get.
In terms of calorie reduction?
Right. Or skipping meals or anything like that, right?
Right.
But versus thinking of what the instructions you were told to do, which is essentially, the right thing to do, which is just stay on the plan, eat all the food you're supposed to eat, because in turn, later on, that's what's actually going to get you to where you're trying to get to the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean? That slow, gradual progress, that slowly bringing down your calories and you tailoring your macros to you, instead of you doing what technically a lot of people think which is that whole crash diet, which is going to, again, bite you in the ass later on, because it's like when you can't keep that up and you can't sustain that type of eating habit or anything like that, it's gonna like literally come back threefold.
Right.
So I think it's a deeper sense of like that delayed gratification of implementing that patience and that understanding that there is a greater reward at the end, given that you're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I think that's like one of the main things that I, at least like recently, that I've been coming to in contact with, when it comes to like the fitness sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's not pertaining to the challenge itself. There's also that very typical cliche one where it's like, I want to drop 5-10 pounds, and then we're on a good consistent routine when it comes to working out. But then I check in on them like the next day or so on, the next time they come in for a workout, and it's like, I'm doing well, I'm doing good, but I felt like I wanted a snack, or I wanted to go eat out yesterday or whatever, so on and so forth, like things like that. That's like on the norm, where it's like, yeah, this is what you wanted right in the moment. You wanted to eat that, you wanted that satisfaction, because now you think your craving is satisfied. Right. But in reality, it's not really, in the long run, it's not really helping towards what you told me you wanted to get, which is that 5-10 pounds like in the upcoming month or anything like that. So
no, I definitely agree. I think that the craving part of it, like to kind of respond to what you're saying with like the cravings, it's like the craving and the thought of eating that food is more desirable before you actually eat it, because then after you eat it, then you have the sense of regret, right? And so it's almost like you want it so bad, but if you can picture it in your mind, like, what does it taste like and all that kind of stuff, and you can pretend like you're eating it, you can almost satisfy that like initial craving of having it. Because most cheat meals that you're not supposed to have, not like a designated cheat meal, but most cheat meals, like when you go off plan and you're going rogue, the thought of doing it and the thought of getting that, those French fries or whatever, is all good and dandy, and while you're eating them, they might be cool, but immediately afterwards, you're like, damn, I could have just not had them.
Yeah.
I could have just not had them, right? But going into like delayed gratification with a fitness journey, it's one of those things where, like we talked about last time when you didn't skip out on me on the podcast,
By the way, real quick,
don't forget.
I'm just reading, I don't know if you can see the Instagram comments, but they're saying that I'm frozen. Like they're literally like, just real quick, they're like, Nick, you're frozen, we can hear you but you can't move. Is it better? Or yeah, I guess I am frozen with my arms up.
I see you.
Like a robot.
As we try to fix this,
Continue.
So I think that the one thing with like delayed gratification, kind of like what we talked about, a few times ago, is The hardest thing to do is, repeat the same process day after day when you're not seeing the results, right? So if you're not seeing the results and you're still putting in the work, you're still pushing yourself physically, mentally, and it's not showing right away, it can be frustrating. Because if you think about it, like if you go to the gym and you work out and you look in the mirror, you look the same. You go again the next day, you push yourself, you're sweating. Let's say you throw up, you look at yourself in the mirror the next day, you look the same. And that can be mentally exhausting, but it's one of those things where that's where the delayed gratification comes in, because if you continuously do it and you go in day after day, regardless of how you feel, you are going to lose the weight. You are going to build the muscle. Like it just happens, like it's science. But when you decide to, have a cheat meal here or skip a workout or, be like, I'm not seeing any progress, I'm just going to give up, then it's like now you're not going to reap the benefits of it. Or let's say you try to fast track it and then you start cutting out meals, like you're saying. It's like you cut out those meals for the immediate or the temporary fix and the temporary solution of losing those 5 pounds. But was that 5 pounds that you just lost water weight? Right? Was that 5 pounds actually 5 pounds that you wanted to lose or needed to lose? Because all of a sudden you start implementing everything again and you start eating normal again, you're going to gain that shit right back. Right? So temporary fixes, they're like Band-Aids, and they won't allow you to actually build the habits that you need for your success or the lifestyle that you need for your success. So I think the process of delayed gratification not only focuses on the fact that you need to have patience and trust the process, but it starts to build a routine, right? And once you start seeing the results, then you're like, okay, this is working. And then you have more trust in the process. But until you start to see those results, it's hard to trust the process, right? You want that quick fix. You want that, I just want to see something. And if that's all you're going for, just the quick, like, I want to see something, then again, you're not going to have that patience built up, which is a skill, right? Patience is a virtue.
Right. And I think just to, kind of be specific on what the current thing that we're talking on is, like when you said, you go to the gym and you don't see the results right away. We've said it to like many people that are kind of like trying to get into shape or trying to get back into shape. It's like all like the weight, the excess weight and stuff like that, and the body fat that you have currently that you're trying to shed off, you didn't put that all together. You didn't put all that on all in one go. You didn't put that all in one meal or in one day. It took a progressive time for you of unfortunately, your bad eating habits and bad lifestyle choices that got you there. So in turn, it's the same thing. It's not magic. So having to go back, turn around and go the right way, the other way, you got to have faith. I think like along with the patience is like having faith. As long as you know that your blueprint is correct and you're following the right plan, approaching the right strategy, now it's time to put the work in and just having that patience, aggressive patience as well, on top of the faith of putting one foot in front of the other towards what you're trying to get to, because it's not a snap of a finger and then it's like, boom, you're right there. Because then what happens to most people is, like you said, they don't see the immediate effects of it. So then they shoot themselves in the foot by, fuck it, you know what? I haven't seen that too much results or whatever in like a week or a couple weeks, or that at least that they would want to see. So then they'll fuck around and just eat a shitty meal or have a bad meal. And then the next day, either they'll feel bad about it, or the next day they're gonna be like, oh, I already fucked up. Let me just keep fucking up again, which is like, you're already making progress. Now you just literally brought yourself back to where you didn't need to be. I saw kind of like a GIF or whatever the hell it is, a long time ago. There was a guy digging, and it says like, just keep going. You don't know how close you are. And like, it was like the gold or the treasure is like right there, and he was like digging through it, and it was literally just like an inch away of like where he was trying to go. But you don't want to stop, or you don't want to give up just because you don't see what is ahead of you or what the prize is ahead of you just yet.
Right.
You know, you just got to keep going.
No, I completely agree. I've seen that same I've seen that same thing. I think it was like a diamond or it might have been gold as well. But it is so true. Like you got to think it's right around the corner, and you're not going to get there if you just give up. And so you got to think it's almost like the stories that you hear where someone's been on a lottery machine or a fucking,
A slot machine.
And they're sitting there and going, spending all their money. And then they're like, you know what? It's just not going to hit. And then the next person sits down and boom, one hit, done. Right. I'm not condoning gambling, but what I'm saying is like, your goals are right around the corner. Right. And like you're saying, okay, cool. You're back.
My back in there.
Yeah. So I was about to have you come over here, just sit on my lap.
Hard pass.
Don't even lie. What's it called? So going back to the slot machines, it's one of those things where your goal is right around the corner. And sometimes you can't see it, but you have to have faith, like you said, but faith in yourself. Faith in yourself that you're going to actually stick to the plan and stick to the program so that you can see the results, that you can make it through that last 1 inch and hit the gold, right? So you do hit that last rung and hit the jackpot on your slot machine of, your journey. But it's so easy to give up, and there's so many temptations out there. And it's easier to say, yes, I'll just have this meal, or yes, I'll, do this. When in reality, it's like the harder path, the path less traveled is the more rewarding path, right? So you have to think, and I know it's cliche, but if it was easy, everyone would be fucking doing it. And that's for anything in life, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. If launching a franchise was easy, everyone would have a franchise. If launching, a business was easy, everyone would have a business, right? Entrepreneurship is hard. If getting a 6-pack was easy, everyone would have a 6-pack, right? But it's not. But that's why it's so desirable, and that's why people want it. If it was easy, then no one would give a shit about a 6-pack, right? But it's because a 6-pack represents the dedication that person had, right? That they were actually honest and truthful to themselves. And now they get to reap the benefits of the gratification of all of their hard work. Like, you don't get to have that sense of gratification if you just take the easy route and you start starving yourself, and all of a sudden you lose weight and you're like, oh, look, I'm skinny. It's like, yeah, but can you sustain that?
Yep.
Because like, you have to think that the things that you're doing, you should be molding a lifestyle out of what you're doing. And it shouldn't just be quick fixes and Mickey Mouse attempts to get you to where you want to be. Like, you should be building, it should be, can you sustain this? What happens when you get there? If you got there and all of a sudden you can't sustain it, you're going to start creeping the other way. And now you're going to be mentally battling with yourself because you want to do those bad habits again, those unhealthy habits to get you back down to where you were, right? Or up to wherever you want to look at it. But if you do it the right way, once you get to your goal, you can maintain it. That is your new you, right? And that's the thing. The important part is, like, people don't realize that when you get there, it's not like you got there, high five, and now you're done. You got to that goal, right? In last week, I talked about, life's a marathon, right? And each milestone is a goal, right? They're called milestones. They're not called marathon stones, right? They're, each milestone is basically your goal. Your next milestone that you see out from the distance, that's the next goal that you can only get to once you've hit the milestone that you're at. You don't get to go to milestone 2 unless you hit milestone 1. So if you all of a sudden basically cheated and did, temporary fixes to get yourself to mile 1, you're not only going to make it a partial way to mile 2. Let's say you make it to mile 2, you're not going to end up making it to mile 26.
Yeah.
Like, that's just facts,
I like that, because the fact of what you had said earlier about, the foundation of the foundation of how you get to your goal, right? Or to that milestone. Those are like literally the key elements of moving forward. Because just like we talk about it with, our members and just like clients and just literally everybody, because it pertains to your fitness goals and literally everything. business, life. When you get to that current goal that you're at, the next question is what now from here? You know what I mean? Because if you only have done enough, yes, don't get me wrong, not taking away the credit that, and the foundation that you've built to get to that current milestone or wherever you're at. That is excellent, right? Props. But from there, if you're just cruising by there, you're just here.
Mm-hmm.
You're just at a steady line, Now, at some point, again, and kind of like if you can't maintain that, then you're going to go down and you're going to fucking just lose all of it. Then you're going to go back up and then down. And that's just an aggressive roller coaster you want to be on. So the only right thing or proper thing to do is once you reach each milestone is using that foundation that you have and building on top of it, because you can't reach chapter 2 or the next mile without the foundations you've got that you accumulated from getting to mile 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're just building on top of those skills. Kind of like with the fitness example, you can't move up in weight or getting stronger without applying the foundations that you learned, that you gained from getting to a certain weight. If you're trying to bench 2 plates, all the strength and all the techniques and all that you had to get to bench 1 plate, you're going to need all of that to get to 2 plates.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
No. Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think that's a major key too, like what we'll get, just to add on top of what you said, that like moving forward, because if you're not aiming for the next thing, if you're not moving up, you're only going to go down too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there is no staying still. There's no, I'm comfortable here. If you're not growing, then you're getting smaller, you're getting weaker, you're getting, you're getting outgrown by the people around you, depending on what you're looking at, right? But it's one of those things where you should always be trying to better yourself, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to, go about it. But every day you should be reflecting on that day, like we talked about, right? And so if you reflect on that day and you're like, damn, I fucked up here, here, and here. Now the next day, don't do that again, right? Stick with the plan. And if you do that, you're gonna inevitably, yeah, there we go, get better, right? And that's the whole purpose of it. I mean, you're coming into a gym to work out. Like, you're not coming in here just to sweat and be like, okay, cool, I sweated for today. Like, what was the purpose of you coming in? Like, you had a goal in mind, otherwise you wouldn't be coming in here, right? Otherwise you'd just be sitting at home watching, other people work out, like Physical 100, but, and I said that because Nick was just talking before the show.
They got some crazy stuff going on there, bro. I was like, I brought that up because in my head, I'm like, I wonder if him and I can compete in there.
But so it's one of those things where, again, like, you're motivated by people on social media and you're motivated by people that are doing it. It's like, so you do it. But when you do it, you're doing it for a reason. You want to improve. So if you're just coming in, going through the motions, that's like me going to the library and not fucking reading. Like what's the purpose? Like, I'm not gonna get smarter by sitting at the fucking table, right? You got to open a book, and then once you open the book, you're actually reading. So that's how you learn. That when you come into the gym, you lift up the weights because you're working out. You're trying to, build muscle. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to, tone up. Whatever the case is. But again, it's getting better day by day by day, and knowing that not everything is going to be immediate. Right. I mean, even me with working out and stuff like that, like, I know a lot of people haven't seen me in a cool minute, but it's one of those things where, again, even myself, like, I let my fitness slack for a while too. And it was because of the business and because of, launching the franchise and stuff like that. But getting back on that grind, all of a sudden, I don't see it because I see myself in the mirror every single day. Right. But then having people come up and be like, man, like, you look like you started working out again. I'm like, fuck, dude, was that really that skinny? Like,
so Devan Devin heard a couple kind of just they weren't ill intent. Okay. We're getting real for a second right now. So Devin got a couple comments that were not ill intent. It was just like, to let him know, like, you're leading up, they kind of meant it as like a, you're leaning up, bro, in thinking that his intentions were to shred up and lose weight. And obviously him and I are one. So we kind of we tell each other everything. So when he told me that, when he heard that, I was like, damn, bro, am I really getting that small? And I see him quite often. So I, kind of was like, is he getting smaller?
I mean, but at that point too, because I mean, at that point is when we first opened the gym. I mean, this is like, it wasn't just I got small. It was like us launching the gym and then, being in the gym all the time. So like progressively doing that and then going straight into launching the franchise and literally going from being physically active and being in the gym to literally being on a computer and writing out, operations manuals and all these other things. Like I would work from 5 a.m. till 1 a.m. Like, and it was like, so I was letting that slack and I would get a workout in here and there. But even then my workouts, I was like already physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted. It was like my workouts definitely weren't the best.
Right.
So then when people were saying like, oh, you're leaning out, I was like, fuck, like, I'd be like, yeah, but it was like, nah, like, it was just stress and not working out and not staying true to, what I
wanted to give you a hug at that moment. It's all right, bro. We're both just deteriorating.
So, but then at the same time, all of a sudden,
he was like, those fools.
No, that same time, the crazy thing is like, what threw me for a loop, and I know we didn't really talk about this part, but what threw me for a loop wasn't the fact that people were saying, hey, you're leaning out, right? Because then it's like, okay, like, I guess, it's like, do I look more shredded? Like, it's kind of a compliment. Like, you don't take it like backhandedly that much. But then I started, once everything slowed down with like the franchise getting like launched and established and like that, and getting back on like using the Strive 11 meal plan app and doing all those things and actually staying dedicated. I mean, I've posted some of my workouts at like midnight. Like I'm still working all day, but it's like, I just had to have the realization that I still need to get it in. Right. So all of a sudden, once I started getting size back, people are like, oh dude, like you were skinny. And I'm like, yeah, no, like everyone was saying I was like getting shredded and when I wasn't, but they're like, no, like you look like you were getting like anorexic. And I was like, all right, bitch. Like, like what, like at the same time, you were the same, one of the people saying like, oh, you're leaning out. It's like, if you, at the same time, if you see someone that, why not say like, are you good? Like, what's up? Like, whatever. Because then it's like, you don't, that compliment that you thought was a kind of a compliment now flips in your head with that same person, because like you were saying, oh, are you leaning out? But in reality, you meant like, dude, you don't look healthy.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's like, why didn't you just say that? Like, for me personally, I like real talk,
straight
like
up.
Like straight up. Like
Honestly.
whether, like, I mean, at the same time, like, that's how I am. So sometimes I hurt people's feelings, and honestly, it doesn't affect me. Like, but it's because I care. Like I wouldn't make the compliment or make the remark if I didn't care. Right. So seeing that backsided, it was like, damn, like, I don't understand why you didn't just say something. Because then it would have made me take a more serious look at like, oh shit, what am I doing? And then that year long of me not working out as hard would have been like, okay, I need to start correcting this now. Like I need to stop doing this. But it was a year and a half of me not doing that. Then it was like, it definitely could have been prolonged.
Yeah, but and then you were like, all right, I got y'all.
Yeah.
And then because, man, I give you like props, honestly, because like I was listening to a different podcast like a couple of days ago, and it got to a section where they talk about the whole entrepreneurship, and then kind of juggling that. I'm not going on a tangent. I'm gonna bring it back in right now. It's like that entrepreneurial journey, but juggling that with your self-care on top of having a family, like wife and kids, and a best friend, Camilla. Like I give you mad props for being able to juggle everything, bro. Like to do what you do, and then like having that realization of, I need my health and fitness. I need to also prioritize that. And then you were able to like bring yourself from like being ill to will. Because like, and that's why when people like because you covered me last Saturday when like the members and stuff were like saying like, kind of like, oh yeah, like that was good to see Devan. Like we haven't seen him in a while. I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, yeah, he looks good. He's like, he's huge. Just, like we were like hyping you up, and I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, he's been working out. He's actually been putting in the time and the work. And I know you and I worked out like a few times, and like we were trying to keep it consistent and stuff. So they're saying like, you are thick out here, boy. And like, and I know the power. So like they're saying like, you've been hitting them squats, bro. So that's why that's why I just want to say like that was a great example on your end. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I try to hold myself accountable too, like whenever it's necessary. to get my own in. But
no, I mean and like I think that because I mean,
bro,
on G mentioned like they're not trying to hurt your feelings. Like at the same time, like you think, not hurting someone's feelings, right? It goes into like honestly, like, it takes a lot to hurt my feelings, right? That's just who I am. But looking at it as like how I'm very direct, and it may hurt your feelings immediately, but then you can correct it and start to improve from there. Because like I'm not just a dick to be a dick, right? Like if I say something like I would have flipped through a script, like I would have been like, "Yo, are you good?" Like it, honestly, like it looks like you're either trying to lean out, or at least looks like you're leaning out too fast. But like honestly, like something doesn't look good. Like, is everything okay, right? Because then giving the backhanded or delayed backhanded compliment, it's one of those things where that can hurt someone's feelings after the fact. Because now it's like those same people that are like, "Oh, are you leaning out?" And then they turn around and they're like, "Dude, you didn't look well." It's like, now do I fucking trust what you say?
yeah,
Right? Because it's like you trying to beat around the bush. It's like now it's like I'm gonna second guess every compliment you give, as does it really mean something else?
yeah, and the fact, and
right?
dude, I think, well, one, like I know you more like better than a lot of people. Actually, most people besides your wife. But the fact of some people like take the thought of like your feelings hurt. It's because they don't want to hear what you are trying to be honest about. It's because like you're pressing the wound like that they don't want pressed. But what they fail to realize at the moment is the people that tell you like honestly and straight up, the deliveries may be different. Like you said, you don't say things like a dick. It's just I know that. It's just, but the deliveries are different. But as long as a person is trying to tell you honestly and directly what you need to hear, those are the people that give a fuck about you. Because if you like what you just said, now if people were trying to sugarcoat it or at least even like delayed telling you what you needed to hear, when you finally do realize it, or when you do hear it from someone else or somewhere else, it's like, damn, then like he didn't give a fuck about me. He didn't even tell me I look sick. He didn't tell me I was on the wrong path to what I was trying to get to. Versus like you just being straight up and honest and trying to fucking help somebody. And it's like, damn, that dude really does care about me, because now I know and I have the awareness that there is a problem that needs to be fixed. Whether or not you like hearing that problem is, that part is like, all right, well, go fucking wipe your tears with your fucking feelings. But at the end of the day, that work still needs to get done for yourself. And that person just told you what it is. So at the end of the day, you got to respect the people that actually are honest with you and tell you how it is.
No, 100%.
I like I try to do the same thing, not as maybe in my own delivery, more question delivery, but
because you're a lot nicer than I am too. Like, it's not that you're nicer than I am. Like you don't like to, hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
but I still want to tell them what they need to hear.
No, but you do tell it directly, but you definitely ask questions like we've talked about, like, and you're good at asking questions. Like, so if you were in that same position, I mean, it's different though for you and I, like, because you never said anything because you and I were going through a similar process, but at the same time, like we saw each other every day. So it's like the same time I was seeing myself in the mirror every day. You see yourself in the mirror every day. We see each other. It's like looking into the fucking mirror. Yeah. So it's like that when someone gives you a compliment, you're like, oh damn, that's crazy. Like whatever. Like honestly, it's different. But the way, like if you were doing it, it would have been like, let's say, is everything good? And then they'd be like, yeah, why? Like, I don't know, like you just, you don't look like you're feeling good or whatever. And then so like you just start to open up the questions. Okay. And then me, I would be more like, yo, you don't look good. Like what's going on, man?
Yeah, you've told me that.
And then you're like, no, like I'm cool. I'm like, dude, you look like shit. Like, what's up? Like, but that's the same thing. It's like, whether it doesn't matter the delivery necessarily. And if a person gets feeling hurt, they get them hurt. But at least now they can get over it faster and solve the problem.
Exactly.
Or if they don't know that they have a problem, now at least they know the problem. Or if they don't know how to solve it, at least now maybe they can ask you, right? So all those different things. But in terms of, going back to the actual topic,
I was gonna say like, oh,
we got tangents off right there. I think though that, I mean, all that kind of ties into the fact of lifestyle, right? And the habits that you're doing, are they temporary? Are they long-term, right? And maybe you have a family, maybe you have, a husband or a wife and kids, maybe you don't, maybe you have, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case, like even you, like you still have a full family. Like you don't have like a wife and kids, but you still have a mom, a dad, grandma, like the whole nine. So it's like you still have people relying on you and that want your time and attention. Having a wife and kids isn't any different than the setup that you have. It's just different labels, right? So it's one of those things where, again, there's no excuse just because you have a kid or have a husband or a wife. Like at the end of the day, you still need to focus on you so that you can support them, right? And you just doing those temporary fixes for that instant gratification so that you feel good, what is that going to end up doing for your lifestyle, which includes all the ones you love, right?
And with the whole instant gratification thing, I know it's like a whole topic of it in itself. Habits is what I'm trying to say. Like I know habits and that is just a whole different ball game as well. But that plays a major role when it comes to being able to, I guess, train yourself to have instant gratification, to practice instant gratification. Because having to fight the instant urges, or wanting that immediate relief, immediate satisfaction, you need willpower. You need that. You literally need that discipline and the habits that you build in holding off and fighting those temptations so that that you can stay on track to reap the better reward in the future, right? But at the same time, for which is, I'm sure most people that does struggle with the instant gratification, I'm want to use as an example, like procrastination, right? You procrastinate on getting a workout in, or you're procrastinating on doing something you need to do for work. The act of procrastination gives you a temporary satisfaction because you don't have to do what you want to do or you need to do. Now, just like in the same way of the habits and the positive habits of doing what you have to do, it's the same thing. When we allow ourselves to practice that instant gratification, instant relief, you're building those negative habits.
Right.
That's why every time you are faced in those circumstances where you to make a decision, it all comes down to decision. When you come down to that instant decision in your brain, what is the habit that your brain is trained to do?
Right.
Comfort, which is to turn to the instant gratification of relief. So that's why we got to be mentally aware that it's like you gotta build that strength to turn, kind of like your wheel, as hard as it is, like you want that comfort or whatever, but you got to realize that every time you do that, you are adding a brick to that bad building habit instead of putting that fucking good building habit, laying the bricks there and just, you know what I mean? And I know it's a lot harder said than done, but at the end of the day, it's like, how bad do you want to actually get or attain whatever the fuck you're trying to get to? You know what I mean?
But to go off exactly what you're saying, it's one of those things where if you give into that instant gratification and you give into, actually, Nicole, he's not a Cancer, okay? That's rude. You saw it in the comment. I'm just kidding. She's talking about a horoscope, but he's not a Cancer. I love him. But no, going back into it. So you taking the easy route out and that instant gratification, that easy path, right? And how you said, putting a brick over here, right? The brick is laid down. The next time that you take that easy path, you're laying a brick on top, right? And it starts to stack up, right? So you're starting to build the strength of that muscle, right? If you're thinking about the bricks as muscles, right? So vice versa, if you have a craving or you basically don't feed into temptation, you start laying bricks on the opposite side. The more times you do it, you start to build that muscle and it starts to become easier to say no. It becomes your lifestyle. It becomes, this is who I am. I don't do those things because this is who I am, right? I just don't do it. It's as easy as that, but it's not easy in the beginning. It's it's hard to say no in the first few times. It's hard to build a 100-foot wall, right? Until you get to fucking 90 feet. And you're like, ah, shit, we're almost there, right? So it's one of those things where the more times you do it in either direction, it starts to build that muscle. And so why not just build the stronger muscle that's going to make you succeed? If it's basically decision A or decision B, fucking go with the one that is going to lead you to a better lifestyle and a better life, right?
Yeah. And I think they'll benefit from the topic that we're trying to at least cover is when like tactical advice. Like what would, like, I think from both of us, like just a little bit of tactical advice in regards to how it would help each person, you know, in practicing delayed gratification. Now, I'll go first. If you ask me health and fitness wise, the conscious mental awareness of when you're about to give in or have that thought of messing up your delayed gratification, you know what I mean? When it comes to like skipping on a workout, delaying your workout, or skipping a meal, or having a meal you're not supposed to have,
right,
is having that awareness to immediately cut the cord of that. Some people call it a bitch voice, or, you know,
bitch voice.
Some people call it a bitch voice. Some people call it Satan or whatever. It's just having that awareness to just cut it off immediately, turn your head, move your body, like literally move your body into where it's supposed to go.
Right.
I think another tactical thing is like environment. I think environment does have a lot to play, as somewhat of a decent role, as well as preparation. When it comes to, I guess, like, you know, like the nutrition aspect or food, don't put yourself in an environment to where you're more susceptible to getting instant gratification. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's like,
I don't know why you're laughing and smiling. I was waiting for a joke to come out.
No, it's like if you know you're going to a party or a dinner,
right?
Let's be very specific. Just saying, if pretend I'm somebody on the 11-week challenge here at the gym, right? If I know there's an event coming up, like a party, a birthday, a work get together, you're putting yourself in an environment to get instant gratification and fuck up your delayed gratification.
Right.
Plain black and white right there. That's environment playing a big role into it, right? Now, I'm not saying directly like, no, don't fucking go anywhere. That's not what I'm saying. Because then, yes, just realize that you're setting yourself up environmentally wise to be more susceptible to be put in that situation, to have to rely on your mental consciousness to either say, no, I can't fucking have these things because this is what I'm supposed to have. Or you can also rely on preparation, prepare your meals ahead of time, which most people make a big deal about, like bring your own food to like different places, which is like, I don't give a fuck. But
no, honestly, I agree with what you're saying, right? And you could look at it that way too. And if you want to give yourself a different perspective, right? Because like you said, like, it's not like we're saying you can't go to parties, you can't go out, right? But it's an opportunity for you to build the muscle the opposite way, right? So giving in to going to the party or going to the event isn't a negative. It's what your actions are at that party, right? Are you eating the fucking, you know, shit that's on the table, you know, the little snack table? Are you, you know, drinking, you know, the alcohol when you're in a challenge or whatever the case is? You can see it as, I'm not going to put myself in that environment because I know I'm going to give in. But why do you know you're going to give in? You know you're going to give in because you tend to take that easy route all the time, right? And so you have to look at it. This is an opportunity for me to start to build the muscle of just saying no. Like, I'm not going to do it, right? Eat before. If you don't want to bring your food to the fucking party, then eat before, eat after. You know, just don't drink alcohol. Not that hard, right? Just say no. Like, and if you're like, oh, okay, like, you know, yeah, I didn't want to have a drink, have it next time, and then next time, tell yourself, I'll have it next time. It's just, it's not as hard as people make it out to be, but it's so easy to just give in. All you have to do to not give in is just not give in.
Yeah.
As easy as that sounds, it is that easy. Just say no. Fucking, you know, just don't do it.
I think like when it comes to that, like with exactly what you're saying, it's like people let their own mentality beat themselves. It's like I feel like you're overthinking that shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what you're supposed to do. Just I understand, like, you know, it's like kind of harder said, it's harder to do than to fucking say it. But still at the same time, it's like, dude, just fucking move, man. Like, you know, just, you know what I mean? And I think you said something last time too, kind of just to use a different example. Like like you said something about like you put like putting your gym stuff in the car.
Right.
Like, you know, like everybody should be working on a consistent basis. You had a long day at work. You know, at work, all shit went fucking didn't work out. All shit went to hell. And like, you're just having a shitty day. Now, you just clocked off, whatever. Instant gratification moment. Go home, lay down, have a beer, go on Netflix, fucking go on TikTok, whatever the hell you guys do, Instagram. That's instant gratification, right? Or delayed gratification is, you know, no, it doesn't matter how fucking tired you are, how upset you are, how much you want to just go home and chill and relax. You know, you're supposed to get your ass to the gym and fucking put that work in, right? That's the delayed gratification, because that's what's going to get you into what you're trying to get to, whatever your health goal is. Right now, putting yourself in an environment of, that's where that whole, what I said, like kind of like environment, being prepared. If you have your shit in the car, that's only going to help you not make an excuse, right? Environmental thing. It's like, if you go home, if you put yourself at home or anywhere but the fucking gym, now you're in a spot again to kind of like go to the party. Now it's like, fuck, I'm already home. I'm just going to rest. I don't want to go to the gym anymore. Yeah. Or you stop by somewhere fucking else. That's not the gym. Instead of just go straight there. So you're not, go straight there. So you're already there, and you're setting yourself up to succeed in your delayed gratification action. Yep. Right. I think that's another tactical thing that I think most people just hopefully benefit from.
No, definitely. I mean, that's, what I was saying with that, it was like, for me personally, I know if I leave here or I leave anywhere and I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym and then I'm going to go home. If I go home, I'm probably not going to the gym.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like, believe me, like, I get it. But again, I'm not going to put myself in that predicament, because I'll just go to the gym. The hardest part is going to the gym or going to do what you need to do. Once you start doing it, you're like, it's not that bad. You always overthink it. And then you start looking at like all the things you could do besides that. And then now you just don't want to do that. I think that people get in their own head and let it last too long. And like Geraldine says, you get to relax after you get your shit done. You know, like, that's just, it's as easy as that. It's not rocket science. It's honestly just,
I feel like me and you don't relax though. I feel like me and you get shit done and it's like, what's the next thing?
Yeah, but I mean, yes and no, but it's one of those things where, again, like, could you relax? Yeah. Like, if you got all your shit done for the day, it's like, you could, or you can keep going and do other stuff so that you get, again, further tomorrow. So tomorrow's tasks are more than you would have done if you stopped there. But again, you have that option at that point, right? But if you wait, let's say you have, 3 things on your to-do list today or 5 things on your to-do list today. You don't do them in the morning, you don't do them right around noon, and you wait until fucking 3, 4, 5 p.m. to start them. Now you're going to be working, to finish your shit from 3 p.m. till 9 p.m. when you could have done it at 8 a.m., been done by noon, and had the rest of the day to dick off, right? So it's like, you just got to figure out, it's not that hard, just get it done.
Yeah, Millie said, it's all about dedication. You take your food with you and that's it. Who cares what anybody thinks? You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. Cap, all caps on the you. And that's a great point. That's a very great point in remembering.
The comment was no cap, but but it was in all caps.
All caps on the you, because it's all literally, it's literally just you for doing the work, and you're doing the work for you. The practice of delayed gratification is for you. Like, right. I agree with that, because all the shit that all these external factors meaning people or whatever, they got to say, they have their 2 cents in. What you're building your delayed gratification for in the future, they're not going to fucking be there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's why most of the time, I don't give a shit what people say. Because it's like, bro, when I'm at the next, like our next milestone or whatever I'm trying to complete at the moment, you're not going to fucking be there. It's not going to fucking matter. You know what I mean? You
gotta be like Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming.
That's our favorite. or this.
Oh yeah, see. But I mean, honestly, no, I agree with what Millie's saying. It's And the hard part is, you know, especially when you talk about food, like, I mean, I've seen a video on social media, you know, a while back where a dude was at like a rave eating Tupperware, like, you know, and it's like, okay, like that's to the extreme, right? But it's one of those things where some people aren't comfortable eating a Tupperware meal at, you know, an event or something like that. So you either eat before or you eat after, right? You can still go, you can still do your thing. If you're that self-conscious of what people are going to say, then okay, don't put yourself in that situation, meaning before or after, right? It's not that hard, but at the same time, people will judge you, or people will, you know, talk shit while you're eating the Tupperware in the kitchen or at the table. You bring your own food, and then all of a sudden they see you later and like, how'd you do that? And it's like, remember that time that I was eating fucking chicken and rice and you were eating pizza? That's how I did it.
Yeah. And they're going to talk shit. People talk shit and will have a negative thing to say about you or what you're doing anyway. It doesn't matter what you're doing. They always got some shit to say. Everybody has something shit to say anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like that crabs in a bucket type shit.
If you're at a bar, like G said, if you're at a bar eating a protein bar while drinking a protein shake, some people are gonna judge you, you know, but she gave, you know, no F's given, quote unquote. But honestly, I would just laugh. I wouldn't judge. Like if we're at a bar and I just saw her pull out a protein bar and protein shake and start drinking it, I would laugh, but then I'd be like, hey, good shit.
You know? To each their own, yeah.
Yeah.
If I didn't know her, I would have been, or whoever it is, I would have been like, damn, they must be competing for a prep. They must got to show.
The real question is, G, were you drinking that protein shake to chase your alcohol down? Where you're like, I'm gonna drink some alcohol and get my gains at the same time?
She bought a vanilla protein shake. She chased the Baileys. No, but but no, I definitely agree with what they're saying as well, that people are gonna have some shit to say anyway. So
let them talk.
Exactly. I don't know, man. It's just it's sad, but that's
your goals are your goals. Your vision is your vision, right? Your life is your life, right? So honestly, if people judge you, they judge you. Like honestly, fuck them, because it's like you're the only one that's gonna reap the benefits. But also, if you don't reap the benefits and you go the opposite way, you're the only one that has to live that fucking sucky life. You're the only one that has to wake up unhappy with yourself. You're the only one the next morning that you went out drinking and you gave into that, you wake up feeling like shit. So let them talk shit, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that has to feel bad about the consequences of you not doing the things that you need to do, right? But at the same time, you doing the things that you need to do and pushing you further, those people might not be in your circle later on, like you were saying, and that's okay, right? And then they're going to start judging you for something else. The people that judge are just judgy people, right? They're unhappy with what they're doing. They're unhappy with where they're at. They don't have the muscle built up to say no, so they want to bring you down. So when you're at their level, they're going to try to bring you down so you don't outgrow them. You outgrow them, then they're going to talk shit for you outgrowing them. Then you get up here, and all of a sudden now they have something to say that you cheated or whatever. You know, it's like, it's just, you know,
they're jealous because you're doing
they're peanut butter and jealous.
You're doing the action that they can't bring themselves to do. Dang, my boy Denny dropped the call. He said, I read somewhere that others' opinion of you is none of your business. That's right. Talk that shit, boy.
I mean, but also if you're focused on other people's opinions, you're spending time wasted on what other people think about you and not about what you think about yourself. Because if you were doing all the right things and you were doing the things that you need to do, you're going to feel that gratification of hitting those milestones that other people's comments aren't going to matter anyways. Because let's say you lose 10 pounds. Someone says you're overweight, you're like, bitch, I still lost 10 pounds. Like I'm on the path. Yeah. Right. I know I'm overweight. I'm losing weight. Like I've already hit this. Yep. You lose 50 pounds. Someone says you're still overweight. Who gives a shit? I'm 50 pounds lighter. Like that's crazy. Right. So it's like, you should only be the one worried about your own thoughts. If you're talking negative to yourself, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Right. Because negative self-talk, that's harmful to you. Right. Because now if you don't believe in yourself and you don't have that faith in yourself, like there is no gratification around the corner on that. Right. But if you believe in yourself and you are happy with what you're doing and happy with the work that you're putting in, because you know what your goal is, whether you see the results or not right this second, then you're going to wake up the next morning feeling accomplished, at least that you conquered the day before.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to feel accomplished that you conquered the week before. 2 months, 3 months in, you still might not see that much in the mirror, but you're going to be like, I'm on track. Like this shit's easy now. 6 months, a year later, all of a sudden you may not see everything, but other people do.
That's the crazy thing about delayed gratification is
Right.
that you just keep your head straight. You know what I mean? Lay brick by brick. And then you look back and you don't even know it. Your house is already almost built if it's not already been built. That's the one of the greatest.
Hashtag bricklayer, bitch.
That's I think that's one of the best things about.
That's a good shirt right there.
I'm
a bricklayer, bitch.
I think that's I think that's one of the best things about delayed gratification is, I'm gonna use as an example, dude, like with the whole delayed gratification thing, about like sometimes you and I have a like a talk, or like when we catch up and stuff like that, that we're putting out fires, or just you and I are just either ready to throw our laptops at the wall or just tear each other's hairs off. Then we
don't tear each other's hair off.
I know, but I'm saying that we would want to tear each other's hair off. I mean, our own hairs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are you saying? Like,
I meant like tear our own hairs off.
Have you had thoughts of tearing my hair off?
No, no, that's not what I meant. I meant throw our laptops on the wall and then tear our hairs out. You know what I'm trying to say? But then we look back and it's like, damn, like if we actually think about it though, like from June 2021, bro, when it was just me and you.
Before that, bro, a year before, we were doing this shit.
Oh, at the park.
We were doing it in a park. Like a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people, you want to hear about delayed gratification. A lot of people don't know that Nick and I were both in the park in
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Reseda.
Rain, shine, windy days or not, we were out that park.
Had a red big parking coat, bro. Like we had our 2 beach chairs sitting right next to each other. Shout out to Gabby, because sometimes she would help us out. Like,
yeah, but like we would be out there. We would bring all the equipment to the park, and we did it for a year. We didn't miss a beat. It rained. We were in the gym that I was renting space from. We brought it over there and like, no excuses, guys, come over here. And we like snuck in a workout over there for people.
And this was during COVID. So there was no his clients, my
clients.
At
the end of COVID, all right. It wasn't during COVID.
Oh,
but,
yeah, okay.
You know.
But like during towards the end of that COVID era or whatever the hell, that it wasn't like, you know, kind of like a full classes. Like there would only be a handful of people that were working out at that time. But we would still pull up.
Patty with the banger.
What?
Back in the day with his braids.
What? Honest positivity. What? And add a smile to all that hate.
I don't know if you guys know. Also, throwback. Nick used to have braids.
Bro. Oh, it's because you saw me with my hat. You don't have braids on right now?
No, you don't.
I swear to God.
Oh, he brought them back.
Bro, you got them the other day.
Oh man. Oh, such a throwback. This is awesome.
You didn't know because I have a hat on.
Yeah, you always have your hat on and your little ponytail sticking out.
But anyway, getting back to it, bro. That's like, I don't know about you, but like every time when like, at least like when we, you know, kind of have those moments when we're struggling, and then I do think back, and we talk about it, we think back about those park days. But I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Aside from those park days, like the days when we first opened Strive, like when it was just me and you, like at least like before Matt was our first one, right? Yeah. Before Matt came on, like 6 to 8 months in, I remember there would be days, bro, because you and I were pulling the doubles, like morning till night. But that was when we first opened. So the classes were, when we got hit with those rush hours and it was packed in here, bro. Yeah. And you and I were, our shirts were like leaking from sweat. I remember, bro, like 5, 6 months in, like physically, I would hit moments of instant gratification of saying, I just need to sleep. I just need to rest. Cause like, bro, I'm not lying. I was physically exhausted, bro.
I know. Remember you got sick for a week.
Yeah, bro. My body gave out, bro.
I know.
Like literally. And we were like literally beat up. And the fact that like looking back at that though, and thinking about all the delayed gratification, like that we literally had to muster up and apply, bro, and how far we have come in all aspects, but especially with Strive, like I think that's a big chunk of the bottom of my heart, that why I keep pushing every fucking day, bro. To see how far we've come. And it's like we're too far in, bro. Yeah. There's no going back, man.
Yeah.
But two, it's like thinking of what else we're going for and what we're like trying to achieve and what we're going to achieve. And more so beyond that, not only am I curious, you bet your bottom dollar, I'd fucking fight anybody to see where we're gonna get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but also like when we're talking about all this too, like we say these stories and stuff like that. It's not to like hype us up, like look how far we've come, look what we've done. It's we went through the shit. Like we've gone through having to physically be exhausted, still try to get a workout in, do all those things. And I mean, like you said, you wore your body out, and then it was literally, we didn't have employees really at that time. It was me for an entire week, and then you came in, and I remember you came into the back office, and I was literally just sitting there with my the gym was closed and my eyes were closed. And I was sitting on the couch, and then you're just like, "You good?"
When I walked in, your eyes, the look of relief in your eyes were like,
I didn't even have a voice anymore. Like the last,
you just nodded. My heart broke, bro. I was like, damn. I was like,
but damn. I mean, but at the same time, like it's one of those things where that's what we went through. So it's like when we push other people, it's like we know you can do it. And so when I say it's not that hard, just don't do the thing that you know you shouldn't do. Just don't do it. It's not that hard. If you know you need to do something, you just do it. Hashtag Nike.
For real.
You know, but like seriously, like it's not crazy. It's not rocket science. Just do the things that you need to do, right? I mean, fucking throw another throwback story real quick. Like Gabby got hit with COVID like twice while she was pregnant. Remember? Like we had just opened. We were going through this whole storm already of just me and you. We didn't really have employees either. And I slept in the gym for a week.
Oh my God, bro. Yeah,
bro,
I literally come sleep over.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'll be fine.
No, you're
still setting up the my zone.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna come sleep here with you. I was like, what? I was like, you're not gonna sleep. We're not both sleeping in the gym. That's weird. Like you have a bed, just go home. And then it was literally like, I was like, dude, you know how like tough it was to be in here all day long, worn out, and then you don't get to leave.
Yeah.
And then literally had my alarm clock in the back office. I had literally everything. I'll sleep on that couch that we used to have, and then literally just wake up the next morning, still here, like eating Chipotle for a fucking week.
Dang, bro.
Like it was. I mean, but at the same time, like so, it's not that we don't have like sympathy or pity for people that are going through it. It's like we are doing the same things. Like I said before, we face the same battles, right? We could easily go home after being in the gym all day long and being around weights and talking about food and doing all that stuff, and then not want to talk about it, not want to do it, but we still do it because we know that we need to, because at the same time, like we are an example. And that's one of the driving forces, that we're an example for the members. We're an example for our team. We're an example for our families, right? And yeah, if you're not a trainer, that's fine. You're still an example for your family. Right? You're still an example around your coworkers, like whether you think you are or not, like you affect other people's lives.
I'm gonna read off a couple. No, I agree with that, but I'm gonna read a couple of the comments so people, they don't, they hear. Nicole said, "You guys deserve your flowers for that and more. Thanks, appreciate it. Shout out to her for the braids too." Millie said, "Richie and I were there." Oh yeah, they were at the park. Hey, Millie and Richie are day ones too. Yeah. Dang, y'all some real ones. We always look forward to those park workouts. Nicole said, "The physical gym is now a perfect example of delayed gratification from your guys' park days."
Yeah. Picking up duck poop.
Bro, that was, oh God.
Every day we got to the park, we got there like 30 minutes, an hour before, and then they have all these ducks and stuff around. So we literally had to go around picking up all the duck poop in our little workout area that we always sectioned off and sit there, and that shit was annoying and gross, but it's just what you do.
Yeah.
G says, "Don't cry, Nick."
I don't cry. No, but I mean, I think just to kind of recap those things as far as like the whole understanding the difference between delayed gratification and instant gratification, and hopefully what everybody can start to be more conscious and thinking about how to help yourself fucking practice instant gratification and build your foundation, build your tools so that you can use that on a daily basis, being prepared, setting yourself up in a proper environment, and then also just having that mental awareness so you can start working that muscle of fortitude of saying no, bro. Just, If you want something, if you're trying to reach a certain milestone, how bad do you want it? Because it's like, if you do want it bad enough, if you do want to drop that 5 pounds, if you do want to drop that 10 pounds, if you do want to win a competition, if you want to live a healthier lifestyle, if you want to beat whatever fucking thing your doctor said you have or whatever, it's like, you got to have that delayed gratification. You got to start building up your delayed gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's,
and there's no way around it. It's like, how bad do you want it? Prove it. I don't need to physically and hear about it. I would show me, just do it. And if you say you want it that bad, and then I see you doing other stuff on social media, it's like, obviously you didn't want it that bad. You know, it's like, talk is cheap in this kind of sense.
if you want to piss like a puppy, sit on the porch.
Yeah.
Let the breeze go. Bro, that's my favorite video, bro.
But with that being said, guys, honestly, I know we went off a few tangents, gave you guys some flashbacks and some throwback stories. But with that being said, you know, honestly, hopefully that gave you a different perspective on viewing instant gratification versus, you know, your delayed gratification, and what's ultimately going to get you to your goal. And not just get you to your goal, but get you to your goal in a sustainable way so that you can progress to the next goal, right? But make sure that you guys tune in, you know, and definitely spread the word about the live Fridays, Friday Night Lives.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, because we certainly enjoy these. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
These are fun for us. But with that being said, make sure you guys share the show with a friend, and don't forget to leave a review, leave a comment. And with that being said, see you guys on the next one.